Hello students, faculty, and staff. My name is Deanna Howell and I'm your host today on the show, T-Talk. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. LaKeith Stevenson. Mr. Stevenson, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. I do want to start off by addressing the students at exactly what your job title is and what does it consist of.
Well, my job title is a food service director,
Right.
and now that title is kind of changed to a general manager. So basically, my job consists of my job is the liaison between the university and Aramark. And what my job is to do is come up with innovative ideas to bring to the students and also bring the faculty and staff. And my job is actually to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do and holding up to the part of the contract of what we say we're going to do for the university.
Right.
So my job is to make sure that, I guess, everybody's in line.
Your job consists of a lot of jobs, but so what exactly brought you here to the Winston-Salem State University?
Well, what actually brought me to Winston-Salem State, I actually worked for Aramark, and I actually graduated from Winston-Salem State
Right.
In 2003. I left and went to Carolina, ran Carolina program for about 5 years.
The food
Service,
okay.
yeah. I used to work for UNC Chapel Hill, food service program, and I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
And once I was there, the opportunity came for me to come back to Winston-Salem State to actually run the food service program here. So I took it as an opportunity to come back and mentor because I was a first college bound student, came to Winston-Salem State when I was here. And so there was a lot of faculty and staff that kind of mold and helped me shape my life and helped me become the man I am today.
Right.
So the opportunity for me to come back to Winston-Salem State, it was also to come back and run the food service program, but also to give back to once those individuals like Dr. Feather that poured into my life was actually come back on campus and actually provide a food service and also mentor and help individuals such as myself when I was here.
Right. So that's very interesting that you worked at Carolina. Is there any difference between their food services and our food services?
No, it's a bigger school.
Right.
We run the same food. I would probably, the difference would maybe at times on certain foods that students may be a little bit more diverse on.
Okay.
And such as maybe, just maybe a culture thing, like give a prime example of a lot of our students, maybe we had a sushi bar at times.
Okay.
So a lot of students that's one of the things they quit for.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of our students are not really big on the sushi bar. And so
Definitely.
so little things like that may be different, but at the end of the day, they still serve hot dogs, they still serve chicken pot pie, we still serve the basic things, but it may be some one-offs or something, but it may be a culture thing as well.
Right, definitely. So how many staff members per department are there actually in the food services, like pertaining to food preparation, the washroom, even busboys?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I can't break it down to a specific
exact number, right?
At this time, I have a total of 152 employees.
Okay.
And at a given time in the Kennedy Dining Hall, you may have, during our peak times, you may have somebody of a bus board. Now you may have anywhere between 3 to 4 individuals. In the prep area, you may have, in the cooking area, you may have 3 to 4 cooks on staff and during your peak times.
Right.
And then in the food preparation, you'll have 2 ladies in there making sure it's 2 to 3 ladies preparing food.
Okay.
And then you have maybe 2 to 3 individuals on the line that are actually serving the food on each station to serve the food, to get the food out.
Right. Very well put system.
Yeah.
So how many hours would you say per se is the preparation before the food is actually served?
That's a good question. Usually what we try to do is we try to not cook the food the day before. We try to prepare and prep the food, maybe taking the food out of the
like
freezer.
a regular restaurant, right?
Regular restaurant. So we try to prepare and prep the food up a day before, so when we actually cook the food, there's not a lot of preparation there. But usually to prep a meal for the number of students that we feed, you're looking at anywhere between 4 to 5 hours of preparation time.
Okay, right. So could you give, not an exact number, maybe just an estimation, about how many students actually eat in the caf?
Well, I'll break it down to a point of how many students are eating in the caf. So for breakfast run for anywhere from 7 to 10.
Right.
You're feeding anywhere between 525 students for breakfast. Then you have your call for lunch. Lunch goes anywhere from 11 to 3. And you're feeding anywhere about 920 students for lunch.
Okay.
And then you have dinner. Dinner runs from 4 to 8. And from 4 to 8, you'll feed anywhere between 850 to another 902 students.
The rest of the students, basically.
Right.
So what exactly would be the peak days for the students?
Well, I would say Wednesdays are our most busiest days of the week. But usually lunch lunch of any day is our most peak day because we have a lot of individuals on campus. You have faculty and staff. You have a lot of commuters that's on campus during your lunchtime. So lunch any day, probably mainly Monday through Thursday, lunch is your most busiest time in the dining hall.
Right. So being that it is so busy in the cafeteria, do you know, coming from a former student and I am graduating in December and I've been here all 4 years, do you know why we actually run out of plates, cups, silverware, and things like that?
The thing is, what we do is I give you a long story and then kind of give you a short story of why we run out. And so what we do is when we go through the summertime, and we prep up and we do a small work order. And basically what we look at how many kids is on the meal plan.
Right.
And so say for instance, if we see that we have anywhere between 2,000 kids on the meal plan or 2,500 kids on the meal plan, what we do is we times that by 2. Okay. So if it's 2,000, so we go 4,000. So what we do is we'll order at the beginning of the year, August, we'll order 4,000 cups, 4,000 plates against what we already have.
Timesing it by 2 for extra.
Extra.
Gotcha.
Right. So we times it by 2 by extra, but we also already had cups and plates already on our hand.
Okay.
So beginning the staff, we already probably have about 1,500 already on plates. So we add additional 4,000. Mm-hmm. So you'll start off anywhere between like 5,000, 5,500 plates and cups, silverware and everything to start off with. But over time, what happens is students begin to walk out of the dining hall with cups in their hand. They take the spoons, they take the forks, they take the plates out of their hand.
Right.
And so what happens is that inventory begins to deplete a little bit. And so by the time we get to it, it costs us money. And so we have to order more stuff. And sometimes when students have to wait, they're out of cups, it's because a lot of students take it out.
I am going to be honest. I did wonder, like, why couldn't we just take it to class? But I understand. Definitely understand.
So that's a lot of the issues that a lot of students, and it's just not a Winston-Salem State thing. I mean, we had that same issue at Carolina. We had that same issue when we had Duke program as well, when we were in Duke University. So it's not a Winston-Salem State thing. It's just a college around. And I was guilty when I was a student. I mean, there was times that I was running late for football practice or I was running late for a class, I would take a cup out.
Yeah.
And so now I'm behind the scene of it. I'm seeing how much of an impact it is, and it's costing to the individuals that has to wait because we're running out and because individuals are taking the cups and forks.
Are y'all like putting a little mandatory stop to the situation? Are y'all checking people as they go out the cafeteria to maybe help the situation?
We try to. We try to manage it the best way we can. And then we try to manage it the best way we can, but we try to manage it not to offend anybody as well. So it's one of those sticky situations of when we try to manage it, sometimes the backlash of our students get to say, well, I paid $2,000 for it. And so that's some of the backlash that we get a lot of times, but we try to manage it the best way we can. We try to be professional as we possibly can to manage it. And that is the hurdle that we have. And so I definitely call out to our SGA President Cal, and I call out to a lot of our student leaders and ask, hey, can you help me with this process? Because to every action there's a reaction. So to that action, the reaction is we don't have any forces.
Definitely.
And so, we continue to order it. It just takes a while sometimes to get in.
Definitely.
So while we ordering, there's a gap of we're missing plates and cups.
Definitely. So how do you exactly plan the menu for the students?
So what happens is the menu, when we plan the menu it's a bunch of Aramark shelves. And what we do is a bunch of Aramark shelves, they get into a room. And they don't just plan it for Winston-Salem State, they plan it for campuses wide. And when they plan the menu, they look at what normal 18 to 21 kids would like and what to eat. And a lot of times they be creative with the menu.
Right.
So a lot of the times the menu is definitely created with that, and then they send that menu out to all colleges wide, to all Aramark.
So I do have a question. How would they exactly know what?
Well,
do they look up a fact sheet or
they look at the trend,
statistics?
they look at the trends, the facts of what we currently serve in our current menus.
Right.
And what happens is we have a production sheet. So every meal that we provide, there's a number that goes with that of how many. If we're like, for instance, if we're serving burgers, so there's a number of how many burgers that we serve that day.
Okay.
And so what happens is they go off of a trend of, say, for instance, if we sold 1,000 burgers, so to us that's a home run. And so a lot of people are eating burgers. So what happens is we say we definitely keep that on the menu because by the numbers of what we sold,
and the popular demand,
exactly. And so that's what we continue to serve. And so some things that didn't do well we end up taking off. And so it's still, when that menu get found by a lot of shelves, local shelves and shelves, when that menu gets sent to us, we still have a little say-so in that. And what we do is we begin to look at the trend when it gets to us. And what we do is we look at, if we're serving chicken pot pie that day, and we say that 700 people are going to eat that chicken pot pie, and say, for instance, only 200 people ate that chicken pot pie,
right.
we go into acceptability factor, and we ask ourselves and say, why they didn't eat that chicken pot pie? Was it the weather? The weather plays in part. Was it classes? Was classes canceled? And we look at all those variables and say if it was a normal day and they didn't eat chicken pot pie, what we do is we say, hey guys, we need to take the chicken pot pie because the students are not eating it. Let's find something cool and creative to add to that place
that they would actually want.
Right. So we still experiment with the menu a little bit throughout the semester because we try to make it as feasible as we can to students.
Right.
And we try to adjust the menu as possible so the students can like. It's kind of a tricky and it's kind of hard because it's like a melting pot. Any university you work at,
got to see both sides.
Yeah, you got to see both sides, and it's hard to please somebody. It's hard to please when it comes to
anybody.
food.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So that's the challenge that we have. But my doors are always open.
Right. For suggestions.
Yeah, for suggestions, and we're always willing to make changes.